7:01, call the Lisle Library District Board of Trustees meeting of April 10th, 2019 to order.
No, the total.
Roll call, please.
Marjorie Roth Kelly.
Here?
Jay Fisher.
Here.
Richard Flynn.
Here.
Thomas Hummel.
Here.
Liz Sullivan.
Here.
Emily Swistak.
Here.
Lauren Ray Wang.
Here.
A quorum being present, we'll move on to item 2 on the agenda, which is opportunity for visitors to speak. Visitors can address the board for up to 5 minutes on any topic that they wish. There will be time. Madam?
Hi, Diane Ward. I just wanted to take this time to publicly thank Richard Flynn for all of his years of service on the board. Many years, I think maybe 17. And his dedication and how all the years he got to, we have a wonderful library. I use it, I love it. And I just wanted to thank you, Richard, for moving it forward, just being instrumental in so many of the decisions that were made to have it be where it is now. He just has shown so much integrity throughout the years, and you know that sometimes you just don't see that in people, but he has it and he has shown it. I appreciate it. I'm speaking for myself, but a lot of other people feel that way too. I hope the new board will follow in his footsteps. And again, I just want to thank you, Richard, for all you've done. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public wish to address the board? Anyone else?
I will. Chris Sheltoff, I was one of the candidates for the election. I didn't make it, but I'm still here, and I will be here for the next 2 years unless somebody dies or resigns before then. Doesn't really matter to me. Also, Richard, yes, thank you very much. You kept everybody using Robert's rules instead of Hoyle's. I want to see this direction the new board goes in a more inclusive for everyone in Lisle, not just people who are able to get in their cars and drive over whenever they want to. We need to do more for our community because they're taxpayers, whether they can get here or not on their own power. It should be our concern. I have no horse in this race, as I've said before. I can do anything I want. I kickbox, I do tap dancing, things like that. But others aren't as fortunate as I am. So I hope everything, like I said, goes forward in that position. And thanks very much again, Richard. You were always great. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wish to address the board? All right. Seeing none, then we'll move on to item 3 on the agenda, which is the consent agenda. Does anyone have any changes or additions to the consent agenda?
I have a question on the treasurer's report. I can find.
If you have a question, then can we look at a motion to get it on the table, and then we'll let you ask it. Anyone wish to move the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda 3A through 3C.
Is there a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. You have a question, Margaret?
Now, if I can find it. On page 8,
Here.
we have a working cash line item for $415,000. If I remember correctly, that's an money we cannot spend. Is that correct?
We can spend it, we have to replenish it and spend.
Okay. So in other words, we either let it sit or...
Okay, I'll expand on that.
Okay, thank you.
The working cash is, the board has discussed possibly dissolving that fund.
Yes.
We can do that. We should be doing that at the end of the fiscal year. When you do that, and there are procedures you must do legally to dissolve this fund, we should consult with our attorney before we do that. When you do that, those funds go into your corporate fund. Most libraries will then transfer those funds, if you have them, into special reserve, unless you need those funds
Okay.
in your corporate fund. But there, you have to, and I can't remember if it's whether by resolution or ordinance, but you must, enact an ordinance or resolution to be able to dissolve this.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Thomas Hummel.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Emily Swistek.
Aye.
Laurie Wang.
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli.
Aye.
Richard Flint.
Aye.
Motion passes, the consent agenda is approved. Move on to item 4, which is the director's report. Director Weinstein.
Okay, I've got some bookmarks. Now, please take one. There you go. Happy Library, National Library Week, everybody. National Library Week is a nationwide event, obviously, celebrating libraries all across our country. It runs through April 13th.
Thanks.
And this year's American Library Association message is libraries equal strong communities, and I couldn't agree more. Myself and the staff strive to meet the needs of our community on a daily basis, and this week on Saturday the 13th, the library is partnering with the Lisle Women's Club to recognize that special relationship that we have with the Lisle Women's Club. We are doing that via a program in this very meeting room, and it's entitled National Library Week, Celebrating the Exceptional Women Who Have Enriched the Library. So we will have that in this room on Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. and everybody's invited. The women of the LWC helped establish our institution. Sadly, we've lost 3 exceptional women within the past 5 years, most recently Ms. Barbara Roque, Marilyn Kowitzel, and Robin Spreetsma. So we are going to celebrate these women and all the women who have contributed their time and energy to make the library what it is today. If you remember, I believe it was last month, maybe the month prior, the Roque family asked that in lieu of flowers that people donate to the library instead. And so we have received a number of donations, and those donations will be shared at the event on Saturday. They're quite beautiful. The Bell Sonore Chamber Ensemble, it's a quartet, they'll play here, and then light refreshments will also be served, and they will be provided by the LWC and the library. There are event flyers behind you on that table there, and we also have some bookmarks for all our library lovers during National Library Week. Moving on March 22nd, Assistant Director Beth McClellan and I met with Jack Hayes of FQC. FQC is a facility planning firm, and as suggested by the Physical Plant Committee, FQC will conduct a facility and campus life cycle assessment, as well as assist us with our stormwater issues. I know Beth has a little bit more in her report because she met again with Jack on April 3rd, so she will fill you in a little bit more there. The Finance Committee drafted an RFP for audit services, and the board-approved RFP was sent to selected firms on March 14th. The deadline for submissions is April 15th, just around the corner. And we also have an RFP and bids for cleaning services, and that was posted on April 1st, and the deadline for submissions there is April 30th. There will be a public announcement of those bids on May 1st at 9 a.m. And we anticipate making decisions on both service agreements in May. I have a couple other mentions. I met with Mr. Ed Bedford from the Naperville Township. Mr. Bedford has teaching expertise on the subject of the Negro Leagues in America, and we are looking to partner with other local libraries for a reading program next spring. So we're starting early, but we're talking about it. It's very exciting. On the subject of the library app, the library is moving forward with another vendor for the app. We've contracted with one vendor a couple of years ago, but we haven't had great success with integrating our databases with the app, as well as we've had some real-time cataloging issues. Sometimes the app shows that there's something that's in when it's really out, and that's generally due to the timing of the data dump. So the new vendor promises to integrate our catalog in real time, which should be excellent, and should also eliminate multiple clicks in terms of accessing our databases. So looking forward to that, and it also looks a lot slicker. So we are looking at a late summer for a launch there. And lastly, the library was mentioned at the April 1st village board meeting in relation to providing Mark on Main impact fees to other taxing bodies in our town. The village board approved of a partial payment to the library. We received $4,896.52. The library and other taxing bodies receive these impact fees as part of an agreement with Mark on Main, and these payments happen as units are occupied. So this particular payment relates to building number 2 and floors 2, 3, 4, and 5, apparently. Before the official board approval, the mayor asked the board if they should make the payments contingent on the library housing code books. The board approved of the payment without the stipulation, but they suggested that the village contact the library and talk to us about housing code books in relation to future payments for the library. So I want to make it clear to our board and our public, and then I will also let the village know that the library has a very long tradition of cataloging and maintaining current code books within our reference collection. Our collection also has circulating copies of various code books and other like materials here. We allocate shelf space for local government and ready reference, and those are available in the adult collection by the reference counter. Our collection also has circulating copies of various code books for other counties too, as well as US code books. So the entire collection is available to anyone who's visiting the library. The circulating collection obviously can be checked out by people with library cards as well as reciprocal borrowers. And as you know, the library is open 7 days a week with evening hours until 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. We do check with the village annually to ensure that our collection is current with village code requirements. And we also check with the county regarding any other local interest materials that may need updating. And we also retain various government agency board reports, studies, and plans, such as floodplain reports, and we even have DVDs of the village board meetings. So presently we've got 188 individually cataloged items related to local government and codes, and these include the Village of Lisle, DuPage, and other counties, and as I mentioned, the U.S. Code Book. So you can find all of these items on our via our online catalog that can be accessed via our website, and then very soon, when we get our new app, you can access them there. So that's my update.
Tatiana, yesterday somebody approached me and asked if it's true that the library is discussing moving downtown. And I said, yes, we are discussing moving downtown. We're also discussing not moving downtown, and we're discussing moving to a different part of our current footprint, and we're discussing expanding on the current building, and we're discussing doing nothing at all. We don't have a commitment to anything. But based on the budget committee meeting, we're going to budget for, seems like several $100,000 of improvements to our current facility. Is it off the table? What's off the table and what isn't?
Well, as far as the budget goes, most of those projects have been identified by the physical plant committee and really don't address major capital projects in terms of the decision to stay within this footprint or not. Those projects are really related to our stormwater issues and some other ADA related projects, but they don't address the gorilla in the room in terms of whether we're going to stay in this footprint or move to another.
Do you have anything to report in terms of your discussions with the village and with developers?
No, nothing.
Or maybe I should ask this. What would the trajectory of decisions be like if it were still on the table that we might move downtown? What would we hear from you?
Well, I think everything's on the table. I think this board has agreed to explore all options, and I think the first step has already been addressed, is that we're having a facility assessment in regards to the current footprint and the lifespan of a lot of our the components in this building: HVAC, roof, foundation, electrical system, our 2 properties. So I think that's the first step.
Can you shed any light on the secret $20 million facility plan that's been going around for like 6 years?
I know of no secret $20 million facility.
Okay, yeah, because no one has told me either, but people keep asking me to confirm. Okay, that's all.
Any other questions or comments for the director? All right. Hearing none, thank you, Tatiana, for your report. Item 5 on the agenda is the Assistant Director's report. Assistant Director McClellan.
As Tatiana mentioned, this is National Library Week. You can see the banner that the staff put outside at the entrance announcing it, and we have some posters back here that come from ALA and suggestions to display during this season. Our event team, as we said, worked on the National Library Week. One of the things we were doing was a children's outreach program with the Taco Dragon from the book Dragons Love Tacos, excuse me. And that was some of the noise that you may have heard at 6 o'clock next door. And our Taco Dragon has been at several schools, and I think we have another visit tomorrow. Correct? Okay. And last night we had a never popular family craft night that we wanted to incorporate this week. And as Tatiana mentioned, we have the event on Saturday that staff have worked with Tatiana and the Lisle Women's Club. Our event team has also been working on getting ready for Summer Read and the kickoff. That's going to be Saturday, June 1st, and the theme is Showtime at the Library. So again, I'll update you next month as to all the activities that'll be happening that day. The event team is still negotiating a few activities that they're planning. And I just wanted to update you on a couple of facility things that we had repairs this month. One was the HVAC air handler. The connection between the air handler and the zone duct work had to be kind of refigured. Not refigured, but there's a liner inside that was fraying, and so that was repaired. And then staff are also working to replace the fluorescent light bulbs with LED bulbs in the ceiling fixtures. We're going to start in the nonfiction section down at the far west end. And these bulbs, when we buy them, they come with a price support from Commonwealth Edison. And you may have noticed that our landscaper was here doing spring cleanup. They cut down the ornamental grass. They anticipate that they'll probably be mowing the lawn in the next 2 weeks. Usually they start around the 15th with mowing, weather dependent. Our summer lunch program that we did last year, we're going to do it again on Mondays. And this Friday, our staff member, Jackie Kilcran, is going to go with Kristen from the West Suburban Community Pantry to a food bank meeting, which is, I believe, out in Geneva. And for that meeting, they're going to be meeting with all, it's not just libraries, some of them are schools, some of them are park districts who do these summer lunch, and this is for children, anyone who's in need, but they're trying to create an option for children who normally have lunch at school. So we'll get to hear what other sites are doing and share experiences, and then in the afternoon there's some training that is going to happen on Friday. And there is more training for staff coming that also will participate in this program. But this was the kickoff. And as Tatiana mentioned, we met with Jack Hayes on March 22nd to begin the process of our facility assessment. And then I met with him on April 3rd, and we looked at some of our recent repair documents and the age of some of the mechanical equipment, and we pulled out some of our architectural drawings and maps to look at, especially to in relationship to some of the stormwater findings. So that was, again, just as a cursory examination, this was a suggestion that we look at some of the HVAC components and some of the stormwater repair, and the curbs are falling apart in our parking lot. And the stormwater drainage research is ongoing. He's especially looking at the drawings and looking at the restrictors before making a thorough or final evaluation on the stormwater. And then Tatiana mentioned that we were doing a request for proposals for cleaning services, and Monday we just had a walkthrough for all the building firms that want to place a bid, and the firms have until April 30th to send their proposal, and then we will make some recommendations in May. And that's it.
Thank you. Other questions for the Assistant Director?
Yeah, quick question on the summer lunch. Are the police going to be involved? I remember reading it last month, right? So
Right.
the police will be on all of them, or just some of them, or?
They said that they would help make sure that
they'll have a-
marketing,
Yeah.
word of mouth, if they see someone in need that they want to share this information with. They said that they would, we could work on a date where they'll actually come over and sit down and probably have lunch with some of the children that are here.
Have you talked to the school district? Would that be something maybe useful in terms of marketing? I don't know.
They did this last year and make sure that they talked with teachers and social workers, and Kristen from the food pantry works with that, and she said again that they'll make sure and get the word out starting early May on that.
Because I know last year it started kind of late in the game, so this year it'll be done.
We do have to pay, they're out of school early.
Sure.
And so we, I think before Memorial Day, so we're gonna start like about the first part of May.
Okay.
Any further questions for the Assistant Director? All right, thank you for your report. Item 6 on the agenda is committee reports. 6A, Finance, Treasurer Wang.
Nothing to report. We did not meet this last one.
All right, item 6B, Personnel Policy, Chairman Flynn.
We had talked about having a meeting in April, let's say April/May. And that is, Tatiana, do we still need such a meeting? We have policies? I guess we were going to fill in the code of conduct.
Yeah, we always have policies. We wanna review the policies. That's up to the chair.
Well, let's get our calendars out. I suppose if we were to have a meeting of the committee, it should be before the May 8th board meeting. And so that, practically speaking, means by May 3rd. So the week ending April 12th, April 19th, and May 3rd, the next 3 weeks. What are our preferences?
Well, can we decide this via email so I can look at my calendar?
Email/telephone call/in-person visit.
Okay.
And we also, I guess we're restricted by room availability. So we'll have to, maybe we can start there and see when the rooms are available. Would you like to set a deadline when you'd like to hear from us? How about by Friday, by this Friday, say Friday noon? Committee, would you please contact Tatiana to tell her, to discuss with her availabilities, and then maybe you can send out an email with all this.
I'll do that.
Oh, and I should say, Jay, too, you're on the committee.
All right, thank you, Richard. Item 6C, Physical Plan.
We haven't had one since last meeting, but we got one next Wednesday, right, April 17th?
April 17th, yep.
At 7 p.m.
Yes. On the calendar. Committee of the Whole met earlier today. I don't see a reason for the committee to meet again, but we'll see what happens next.
Depending on whether we vote the budget tonight, there could be another meeting.
Yes, they're good. All right, move along to item 7 on the agenda, unfinished business. I do not believe we have any unfinished business with us this month. So we'll move to item 8, new business. Item 8A, approve LLD pay grade adjustment, action required. The annual industry standard review and adjustment to the LLD pay scale.
I move that we approve the LLD pay grade adjustment.
There is a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second. the staff wish to
Sure.
brief overview?
Sure. This is strictly our pay scale by pay grade. This is in line with the national as well as regional CPI of 1.9%. So what we're basically doing here is shifting the starting pay up 1.9% to be in line with the other local libraries in our area. We definitely want to attract quality candidates and remain competitive when hiring opportunities arise. So that's why we adjust the scale on a yearly basis. The only real deviation from the 1.9% is the library page position. That is our lowest pay grade. I am recommending an increase of 12% there, from a library page making $8.89 an hour to moving that up to $10 an hour of starting pay. Outside of that, everybody else, it shows a 1.9% shift of starting pay.
Other questions and comments on the motion?
My only comment would be, I appreciate this, and I am going to vote aye for this, but I wish we could have been a little bit more generous, because these aren't real dollars anyway. These are just limits. And there's optics involved, and there could be someone, depending on what you give the staff in raises, there could be someone who still bumps up against a 1.9% increase, but I'm not going to ask you to change it. I just wanted that to be on the record.
Marjorie?
Tatiana, the 1.9% increase, where does that fall in the ranges, minimum, midpoint, maximum?
It's 1.9 increase shift on all. Everything shifts 1.9% up.
Up, okay.
So I don't know if this is a personnel policy or like how, like for example, at least in the company I work in, right, we always, when you look at the compensation, you always target people at a minimum at midpoint. For people who are kind of below the midpoint, there's kind of a, performance review, so forth, an active way to move to the midpoint. And then based on the performance, then from midpoint to maximum. I don't know if there's certain guidelines you guys go through. You understand it's just a guide, it's just the range, right? When you go through performance reviews, is there a conscious effort to move people toward midpoint for people who are below?
I think we haven't done, there isn't any procedures to do that. When we first implemented this and upgraded, we were, and I believe this was in 2013-14, we were 11% behind industry standards, and that's why every year we've been matching CPI and catching up. I think we're okay now. If we want to review that again, we can do something like a salary study, because again, we haven't done this since 2014, 2013, and our job descriptions have changed. Our librarians are doing different things now that they've done before, and other positions too, so it might warrant another look.
Tatiana, when you said we had 57 employees, was that full-time and part-time?
We have 57 total employees, and it's almost down the middle, half part-time, half
It's
full-time.
an odd number.
I'm just saying, almost.
How many FTEs?
What is the gender, 44?
45.
To sort of go back to both what Richard was talking about, I know what Longry was talking about. Do we know, in terms of our current employees, roughly how many are like bumping up against the max and how many are clustered around the midpoint, or do we not?
We don't have, we may have one or two bumping.
I think there might be 5.
5?
5.
Okay.
Okay.
Without the 1.9 or with the 1.9?
Well,
Without, so the 1.9 allows for it.
Any further comments or questions on the motion? All right, hearing none, roll call please.
Liz Sullivan.
present.
Emily Swistek.
Aye.
Lori Wang.
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli.
I vote aye, but I also recommend we implement the salary study.
Richard Flint.
Aye.
Thomas Hummel.
Aye.
All right, by a vote of 5-0 to 1, the motion passes and the LLD pay grade adjustments are approved. The adjustment is approved, depending on how you look at it. Item 8B.
Jay, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but before we get there, I think two of our public have asked us to not approve the working budget tonight. So I was hoping that before you call for motion on this, we could get a sense from Tatiana. Should we vote it tonight? Should we delay it till next month? What do you want to do?
Well, I believe this budget is based on the work that our standing committees have accomplished during the entire year, as well as the strategic planning committee. So this budget reflects those achievements in a number of ways. I think that, I know we have a new board coming, and I think the working budget provides the new board a blueprint for discussions that move towards the B&A. And yes, the new board can and will make new decisions moving forward. I think there's a lot of flexibility between approving the working budget and the B&A in September. So allowing for a working budget first and then determining the appropriation, it allows for us to fact gather more, have some deliberations, have some education for the new board members, and then we can have some adjustments come the appropriations. But I think this is a solid budget.
So this is a position that you've taken in the past couple of years, which is that since the working budget doesn't really bind us, we have to have one, but we're not bound by the numbers. The B&A, we are bound by the numbers.
Right.
And so in the past, you said, let's get a budget, and then if there's any more work that needs to be done, we can address that in the B part of the B&A in September.
Or before even. I mean, any meeting before that.
Okay.
I move to postpone the vote on the budget.
Could be moved to table
Move to
to a
table
specific date. Oh,
till the May meeting.
there is a motion to table item 8B until the May meeting. Is there a second?
I will second it.
There is a motion and a second. Discussion on the motion?
That would only make sense if we thought something would change between now and May.
Because of the May meeting, it would still be this board.
Yeah.
Yes.
But also, I mean, it is true that the public has a very important interest in digesting these numbers, but how much, which of these lines do we really think is going to change a lot? I don't know. Anyway, you have your motion.
I mean, I know we have one of the new trustee-elects asked in public comment in the budget meeting to postpone, and I think he would just like more time to review it, because I'm assuming he just probably saw it like the public on Monday night. Okay. So, I mean, just in case he wants to review it and come back with more public comment at next meeting. I don't know if the budget will change per se, the working budget, but I mean, it's up to the board. I mean, there's a motion in a second. I mean, we could.
Well, you know,
Go ahead.
I mean, we have, even though I don't think the budget's going to change a lot between now and the new board come through, but we do have 3 new board members, so I think we need to give them the opportunity to provide input. So I would support defer this motion today.
Any further comment on the motion?
In the past, in the recent past, there's been discussion of tabling the budget until June. By statute, we have to pass it in this fiscal year, is that right? Or is it earlier? Is it June 21st or something? So, I mean, I really don't want to get down that slippery slope. Delay it for one reason, then delay it for another reason, and then there was discussion at 2 points in the past about why do we even have to have it? Let's just do a B&A. So I really don't want to get into that either.
Further discussion on the motion? All right, we'll call for a vote. This is on a motion to table 8B, the approval of the working budget, until the regularly scheduled May meeting, which I believe is May 8th. An aye vote is to table it, a no vote is to not to table it.
I might just kind of, so when we table, we can't table it to June, it has to table to.
This motion was for May.
Yeah,
Yes,
my
a motion is
understanding
for-
is that the table motion is
I'll
The
Until
name's
the
gonna
next
be the
meeting.
same board.
I'll amend my motion to table it till June.
We're just looking, I'm not sure that under Robert's rules, one can table it
Beyond 1 month.
that's why I brought my little book, dude. There you go, to postpone to a certain time. Sometimes postpone consideration. The effect of this motion differs from the motion of the perfect committee. Yeah. The motion postponed must state the time to which the motion or motions are postponed. The motion to postpone to a certain time is debatable, but only on the merits of postponement, not the merits of the underlying motion. It requires a second and majority vote. A special order. Since this amends the agenda previously adopted, it takes 2/3. Blah 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 blah. Oh. Okay. I don't see that we necessarily have to postpone it to the next month. Okay. What is it? There it is. The motion to postpone to a certain time is debatable, but only on the merits of postponement, not on the merits of the motion. No motions to be postponed. It requires a second and majority vote for approval. It can be postponed only to the next meeting and is placed under unfinished business and general orders on the agenda. So the way that I read the Robert's rules is that it's under the motion to table to a definite time, you can table it to the next meeting.
So do I withdraw my amendment?
Yeah.
Okay, I withdraw my amendment to my motion.
Thank you. So we are at the original motion to table it to the regularly scheduled May meeting, and I vote is to table it till that time, at which point we can consider another motion. No vote is to bring it up for consideration this evening. Roll call, please.
Lori Wang,
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli,
Aye.
Richard Flint,
Nay.
Thomas Hummel,
Aye.
Liz Sullivan,
Aye.
Emily Swistek,
Nay.
Jay Fisher.
Doesn't really matter how I vote,
Yeah.
so I'll vote aye. By a vote of 5-2, the motion is approved, and item 8B, the approval of the 2019-2020 LLD working budget is tabled until the next scheduled meeting, which is May 8th. That finishes new business for this evening. Item 9 is opportunity for trustee comments, limited to 5 minutes. And I will start. Based on my discussions with Tatiana, it is my understanding that under state law, the terms of the new trustees that were elected begin on May 20th. So the director said she can arrange for new trustees to take the oath of office on May 20th or soon thereafter. In my discussions with Tatiana, I think the plan was for us to schedule a special board meeting on Wednesday, May 22nd, so that the new board can elect officers, since the new board will be without a president. And that way, the director can work with the new president in terms of creating and crafting the June agenda. So that is what I have to say under opportunity for trustee comments. Trustee Flint.
Last couple of meetings, there's been a discussion about having a shuttle service, and it never quite gets resolved. I can't see why we wouldn't do that, but I would like to propose that we collect some data on what services are available, what the scope of their service, and what their fees might be. And so, if there is such a vote, and I sure hope there is, it would happen after my term ends, but I mean, it's a serious proposal, and just referring to the existing PACE route is not a response. We haven't responded to that request for a service yet. Also,
Can I just say, actually, we
No.
have? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to
You'll have
tell.
your 5
You
minutes.
have your 5
Okay.
minutes later.
I do think this board ought to take seriously fundraising. I think it has to be done properly. There's many ways to do it incorrectly, but if it's a discussion that involves the whole board and the admin, and probably involving the friends also, some sort of fundraising activity would be a really good exercise for us. Not because it'll raise a lot of money, because it will not, but because of the way it involves the community. It gets us talking with each other and just opens us up to what's in their minds in a way that you're not going to do once every 10 years with a community survey. At the conference I presented at last October, it was called friend raising more than fundraising. We really ought to be doing that. And if we do raise a few $1,000s and give people a chance to have fun and get to know each other and talk to each other, that's really more important in the long run than the amount of dollars. I'm still not exactly clear what's involved with the proposal for a new facility life cycle study. But I do know that one thing we haven't had for about 3 or 4 years is an architect, and we need one. If we're planning to do several $100,000s of repairs or new construction or whatever, we need an architect, and we need someone who's going to sit at our meetings and work with us. We really don't need a facility plan. We have a space study. What we do need is a special reserve resolution. We've been waiting for at least 2 years for a special reserve resolution. We've all these millions of dollars in special reserve fund, but no current plan for spending it. And we thought that was going to change 2 years ago, but it really ought to change soon so the public knows what we're saving up for. That's all.
Thank you. Trustee Hummel?
I saw in I think it was a circulation report that one of the employees is retiring, so after retirement, Ellen Purcell. That's it.
All right. Trustee Sullivan?
I sent an email. I researched all the various options that I found that were available to people who are low income or seniors. And this was in response to Lee's comment at our last meeting. I don't know if that was passed on to you, that email or not, but it went to both Tatiana and to Beth, and I asked them to pass it on to you. Okay. You what?
I'm not allowed to respond.
Oh, okay. Well, so to your point, Richard, I agree. I did the research. I sent it on. I hope it got passed on to you because I don't know your email.
All right. Thank you. Trustee Swistek?
I just wanted to thank staff for all the hard work on preparing the budget.
Thank you.
Trustee Wei?
Yeah, I agree with Emily. Yes, I appreciate Tatiana, the level of diligence. She put the budget together. It's very thorough. And I also kind of appreciate the kind of more spirited discussion around the table among our trustees, because everybody had the good intention to make sure we maximize the value of the library, make the library a great place. So I definitely appreciate everybody's perspective. And at the same time, I also wanted to kind of make sure we give opportunity for the 3 incoming board members to have an input as well, because they'll be living with the budget, not me. So that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Bartel?
Yes, you mentioned May 22nd meeting for the election of officers. I want to make sure everyone's calendar is clear for that date.
Oh, I thought you said the 27th.
I said the proposal was Wednesday, May 22nd.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I think it's important we all be here for that.
Some of us.
Some of us, yes.
Not all of us.
Do the new trustees, do they know about it yet?
Yeah.
They do now.
All right, is that all, Marjorie?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you all. That comes to the end of our agenda. They only have one other item on it. Does someone wish to make a motion?
I move to adjourn. Richard and I are just anxious.
I'll give it to Richard. Do you want a second, Larry?
Yeah, I second.
All right, there's a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 7:45.